it's a message that we bring home when we talk a bit about an organization's wellness program, but layered up one level is we believe, and I certainly believe, that an organization has a responsibility to look after its employees when they're at work, but also when they're not at work.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings up the topic of presenteeism and brings up the topic of absenteeism. So when you look at what the returns are, when you look at wellness programming as a component of those two big areas, it pretty much opens up the ocean as it relates to why a company would invest in any kind of wellness program, is to support both employees when they're not at work and certainly when they're at work. Is quantifying those benefits is a difficult task.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look at things like productivity. Obviously, you're going to be a more productive organization if you have lower absence rates and people are more engaged while they're at work. You can also quantify absenteeism by looking at what your absence rates are, what the cost of all your benefits are. So there are ways to quantify those investments, and it needs to be a quantified analysis. Most organizations need to have a starting point. So I go back to saying a return on an investment is an investment now for a return in the future. But before we make any investments in wellness as it relates to absenteeism and presenteeism, we need to start with a good current state. Is where is the organization now, and have a really good answer to why they need to make investments in wellness and which investments they need to make to essentially hit their overall goal in the future. And some of those goals are cost reduction. Some of those goals are higher productivity, all of which can be quantified. So that's where the discussion of how you track and measure an ROI, not just on wellness, but absenteeism and presenteeism, comes in. So that's our and certainly my perspective on how the business side of investments in this field are critically important.